So, you're thinking of starting a blog, or you've just hit that publish button for the first time. Great! Congrats! Now what? You know, anyone can start a blog, but very few actually make it. I know when I first started my blog 8 years ago, I made all sorts of mistakes that kept my blog from taking off, and that could very well have killed it before it even began. Today, my blog earns me 5 figures a month, and I absolutely love it. Let's say it like it is. You don't want a blog as a hobby or a diary that you write for yourself. You want to make money off of it. Maybe even quit your job and do it full time. And I want that for you too. So in this video, I am letting you know the 11 things you absolutely need to know to make your blog very successful from the get-go. Okay, let's do this. So the first tip I have for you is to always begin with the end in mind. And for blogging, that means picking a niche that gives you a lot of monetizing options. You need to think about how you'll make money with it right from the beginning. That is, if you're planning on doing it for a living, of course. There are a lot of things you can do to make money with your blog, and if you want to know about them, I suggest you watch my video on how to monetize your blog. I'm leaving you a link below so you can watch it, okay? The first option that pops in your head is probably ads, right? But ads alone won't be enough unless you have this huge traffic volume, which you probably won't at first. So when picking a niche, try to think of products or services that niche will be interested in. Do a bit of research on Google and Amazon reviews to see if those products you had in mind or other related products are something people actually want to buy. The next thing you need to do is know who your target audience is. It may not look important at first, but if you think about it, there's a lot riding on that, like what you write about, your website design, even the words you use depend on who you're writing for. You don't write a marketing post the same way you'd write for a cooking blog, right? It's just different. And on that note, remember to keep your brand in mind at all times when you're creating your blog. Pick a website design that matches your theme. You're trying to build a cohesive brand here. You will want to do everything you can to increase its value. And looks are just as important as written content, if not more important, because it's the first thing people see when they arrive on your blog. If it's a finance blog, don't go for Marvel heroes or glittery unicorns. Personally, I love unicorns, don't get me wrong. I just don't want to get my financial advice from a website that looks like a child's bedroom. All details matter. Now, the fourth tip is to publish a couple of posts before you start promoting your blog. You don't want people arriving on your blog and finding only one post to read. You want to keep them there for as long as possible, and you want your website to look finished, right? Next, you need to make sure that you find your own voice. You know, there is nothing wrong with seeing what others are doing that's working and taking inspiration from that. I actually recommend it, but don't copy them. It won't do you any favors. If people want to read something that a successful blogger writes, they'll go to their blog, not yours. People want to read what you have to say the way you say it. And while we're on the subject of competition, do your research, not only for inspiration, but also to get an idea of what they're doing right and how your audience is used to getting their content. For example, for my pet blog, I found that people who look for cat-related content aren't interested in cat training tips. They read about cat care tips instead. I'm not saying if the competition isn't doing it, don't do it either, because if you have a good idea that no one has tried before, you should definitely do it. Who knows? It may be your big chance. What I'm saying here is be prepared for the possibility that it may also tank, and the reason why no one does it is because your audience isn't interested in it. Sorry, it is what it is. My seventh tip is one that you've probably heard before. Be consistent. Set up a publishing schedule and stick to it, no matter what happens around you. What I'm saying is, it's easier for you to get into the rhythm of creating content all the time if you do it most days instead of picking one day a week to write several posts and not writing for the rest of the days. You will never pick up a routine that way. It will make it harder on your brain to focus when you need to create your content. Plus, you don't need to do it all day long. Picking a couple of hours of your day when you feel you are the most productive should be more than enough to keep your blog filled with fresh, interesting content that your readers will love. So my next tip, the eighth by the way, is also crucial for your blog's success in the long haul. You should write about something you love because you'll be writing about it for years and years to come. But it should also be something you know more about than most people, or at least than the people you're writing for. You don't need to be an expert on your blog subject, but you should definitely be an enthusiast and have an above average knowledge of it. You know, I love pets, have loads of them, so check for enthusiasm. And let's say my blog isn't for pet trainers or veterinarians. It's for average people who are lucky enough to share their lives with pets and sometimes need help in keeping them healthy, safe, and happy. Okay, moving on. Here's my 9th tip. If you're doing this in your free time while maintaining a job, keep your job until you start making enough money. Preferably until you've been making a consistent amount for at least 3 straight months. And even so, having some savings on the side to make sure you'll be able to pay your bills will save you a lot of stress, because it's easy to make mistakes when you're just starting out, and a lot of things can happen. Over the years, we've had all sorts of catastrophes, like getting mistakenly suspended on social media and losing our main organic traffic source for a few days, or our hosting platform crashing and our blog along with it. Or each time there's an algorithm change and your traffic suddenly evaporates because of it. Let's just say that things happen, and you don't want to be counting pennies when they do. Next, let's talk about your readers' experience when they're reading your posts. My tip is, images matter, headlines matter even more. It's like Ogilvy said, on the average 5 times as many people read the headline as they read the body copy. And this is getting truer and truer by the day. When people click on a blog post, they see the images before reading the text. But most importantly, they read the headlines to decide if they should read the rest. If your titles aren't good, they'll just move on. If they're brilliant and enticing, they'll continue reading. So keep that in mind. Now, for my last but most important tip, no matter how amazing your content is, how beautiful your website design turned out, or how many hours of your day you spend working on it, no blog survives without visitors. People to read your content, to watch the ads, to buy the products and hire the services. And while this is pretty obvious, what may be less obvious to beginner bloggers is you need to actively do something about getting people on your blog. Don't just sit and wait for people to come by your blog or to find it on Google. I hear it all the time. Beginner bloggers saying, "Oh, I have my blog all set up. Now I'm just waiting for people to find it." People won't find it, not on their own. You need to show it to them from the beginning. Not having enough visitors is the #1 reason why bloggers give up. And that is, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest waste. If you decide to create a blog, that tells me you have something to share with the world, and people should get to see that. So, one of the most important things you need to do before starting your blog, or as soon as you get started, is to have a promotion strategy in place. Yes, you should definitely optimize your blog for Google search, but it's something you'll do to reap the rewards down the road, not immediately. So, pick a social media platform to get your organic traffic from. For us, that was Pinterest. With Pinterest, we were able to go from no visitors to 100,000 visitors a week in 6 months without spending a dime to get it. We created a pipeline of people coming from the Pinterest platform to our blog that has been going strong to this day. I won't get into the specifics here, but if you're interested in learning how to fill your blog with readers using Pinterest, I'm leaving a link below for a free training you can take. You know, even after all this time, I can still remember how it felt when we first launched our blog. That mix between excitement and fear, wondering if we would be able to do it. And I know there's a lot of competition out there, more so than when I first started, but I also know there's plenty of room for good content, for blogs that provide value to their readers. And I know that a lot of people are saying that videos are the new thing and that you should become a vlogger instead of a blogger. The way I see it, photograph didn't end painting, cinema didn't end theater, and videos won't kill blogs either. So I say go for it. Take your place in the blogging community. Keep these tips in mind and don't forget to have fun. If you want to see more videos like this one, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to be the first one to know when a new video gets published. I'll see you for our next video. Bye bye.